Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports with Monga. It's the season finale. It's the final race of the 2022 season, a Formula One season, which after the change in regulations from 2021 did do what it was supposed to. It offered great racing. It offered closer racing. It offered a difference that we've not been able to see for the last hybrid era, with the Mercedes domination only to be beaten at the same event last year, Abu Dhabi 2021, Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton. You know, it's so funny how time changes as well. A year back, Formula One was just divided. Now Formula One is coming back. People have realized they're still polarized. They're still polarized in a way, but then they've come back and then they've seen what the job Formula One has done, like with the regulations, FIA, the promoters, Liberty Media. Every event has been a blockbuster. There've been very few dull races this whole season. Of course, it sounds like that. The racing looks like that, but then only one team has been able to kind of maximize the most of it, and then that's Red Bull, because they've already wrapped up the constructors and the drivers' championship three races ago. The only thing we're fighting for right now is who's going to finish second in the drivers' championship and for the constructors, where Red Bull is not even there. It's between Mercedes and Ferrari in the constructors, who are right now in a tussle of around 19 points. There's a 19-point gap between Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes, and Sergio Perez with Charles Leclerc. Yep, that's kind of the lost. That's what we're fighting for. That's what we're scraping right now for. But that's very interesting here, how it kind of panned out as well, how it went. A very emotional kind of day for a lot of Formula One fans, at least for me, to know who's leaving and when, like who will not be there in the next season, next kind of the next year in Formula One. Sebastian Vettel, the 4-time world champion, is leaving Formula One. I'm gonna miss him. Yeah, what a man, what a legend. What a legend of a sport. Of course, he had that tenacity. That he was young. Now look at him, mature and doing the right things, and making it clear that there is still a race to be won. That's his message. Do check out him on Instagram. With his new merch that he's putting away for the bees, like merch that he's selling in support for the charities that he runs for saving the bees. Same love. The Miami underwater, and one more, which is women in Formula One. Yes, all great causes to support Sebastian Vettel. Do go and check out his Instagram. He has the link there to kind of and I can add it to my description as well. And you can go and donate there. But what a moment for that. I might do a separate video altogether for Sebastian Vettel after this, but that's just kind of, I just wanted to mention this out if I don't end up doing that. Mick Schumacher is out. His Nico Hülkenberg was confirmed for the second Haas seat. Nicolas Latifi is gone. We don't know who's going to come. Did Sargent make the championship points that he needed, or the super license point he needed to kind of get in? I think I'll have to check back on that one. And then Daniel Ricciardo, he's leaving, but then rumors are that he's going back to Red Bull as a reserve driver. Well, what goes around comes around, and that he had a good time. I'm thinking he just wants to have a nice time. I think he wants to root out on a high. Would have been better if Sebastian Vettel wanted that. But then anyhow, interesting times ahead. Wishing all the best to all of these drivers, and looking forward to seeing some people return and some not. I have my biases here, but then looking forward to seeing how things pan out for everybody. Now going back to Abu Dhabi qualifying, Red Bull never looked under a doubt. There was never a second team that could even come closer. The only second person who could come close to this first person, which is Max Verstappen, was his teammate Sergio Perez, Checo Perez. He did an amazing job. He was flying in the FP1s, FP2s, and FP3s. Amazing pace. But then Max does what he does best. He did help. You have to give him credit there. They have spoken about it. There's been a lot of talk between on the Red Bull garage regarding what happened last in Brazil. How Max basically refused to give Checo the place back for sixth position, so that he could then be ahead on points against Leclerc. But right now, Leclerc is ahead because of the number of races he has won. To Checo, was both on the same points of 290. But that's kind of the thing where it makes it. But then he was able to help today in the final lap. But that's kind of what is interesting to see. Max Verstappen and Checo Perez do seem to kind of understand what the kind of bury the hatchet between themselves and then move forward and doing what is best for the team, for both of them. But it was pretty. The grid was pretty. We had the bottom five was pretty well known. It was what was pretty interesting is like we lost Kevin Magnussen, Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, Alex Albon, and Nicholas Latifi. The surprise for me was Kevin Magnussen, because of course you have to remember what he did in Brazil. It was a sprint race. He got pole. He started from and then Daniel Ricciardo took him out like that was. But then a week can make so much of a difference. Like stories just change. But that's the same. That's the scenario. That's how Formula One rolls. Then the next bottom five was Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Lance Stroll, and Zhou Guanyu. A little surprised with Fernando. He had some issues. He had some brake issues, of course, with Pierre Gasly. That his kind of a brake that kind of is or on the brake disc kind of breaking out and breaking apart. He didn't have much of a running as well, and the team had to fix that pretty quickly. But yeah, looking for, and he changes teams as well. He's going to a French team, Alpine, next season, and Fernando Alonso goes to Aston Martin, where he replaces Sebastian Vettel. This Aston Martin keeps their streak of since the initiation having a world champion. The first, of course, being the 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel now, but they'll still keep it with 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso. But all eyes are on Sebastian Vettel. Like, where does he kind of go? Everybody must look, because that's his track. Abu Dhabi is his track. Yas Marina is the track where everything happened, right? Didn't he win a lot of championships there? Oh, das Weissmeister. Sebastian, oh my god, this is just emotional. And I just remember Sebastian Vettel, you're the world champion. The world. Christian Horner saying what he said to Max Verstappen last season in Abu Dhabi in 2021. But Sebastian Vettel eventually did finish 9th, ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo will have a 3-place grid penalty because of the collision he caused, which will make him start at 13th, I think. So, but Alonso goes into 10th. Everybody gets bumped up 1 place. Esteban Ocon was 8th, Lando Norris 7th, George Russell 6th, 5th was Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz 4th, Charles Leclerc 3rd, Sergio Perez 2nd, and Max Verstappen takes pole. A pretty nailed down top 6 players on the grid. 2-3 teams to 1 to 6. Battles to look out for is definitely Checo Perez and Charles Leclerc. They're fighting for the 2nd spot in the championship. There are other battles that are on the constructors that are happening as well, with Mercedes and Ferrari. Mercedes still would want to win this. Ferrari is still leading this by 19 points. Then other battles that are still happening are McLaren and Alpine. It was a good day for McLaren because they finished the best of the rest. Lando Norris P7, and Ocon 8. So, but they're still ahead of them. So that'll be very interesting to see how that goes. And Daniel Ricciardo, of course, 3 plays good spot. He finished 13th, and Alonso will be 10th. But that's still a battle. And again with for Aston Martin and Alpha Tauri, I think there is still a battle to be won there. There's 6 points kind of there, but Alpine is Aston Martin is still ahead. So that's good that Sebastian Vettel is up in the scoring points already. But tomorrow's race is a long race. It's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty emotional. I'm looking forward to some really good action on the final race. Yeah, but that's kind of how the grid is laid out. There are pretty nice battles still happening. So that's kind of the best thing about it. You still see that the narrative being there still. The Formula One is still kind of it's still interesting. It's not just like, everything is done. You don't want to watch this race. There's still some nice battles, and there's some really nice emotional elements to this as well. I'm looking forward to the next year as well. It's already kind of feeling a bit like the momentum shift, how things will move forward. Of course, Red Bull is the one biggest thing that everyone's to talk about, considering the financial regulation that will, or the penalties will come in play. They'll have lesser aerodynamic testing time as well. How will that affect? Who will bounce on that? Will Mercedes, who made such a good progress, like to just say that it has come to a final race where it's still a chance that Mercedes can finish second, was almost impossible to the way Ferrari started the season, where Red Bull almost felt it was a Ferrari season to win. How things have changed, how kind of like different things have happened. This season has been really long and so much full of excitement in my mind. Looking forward to that race tomorrow. Do let me know your thoughts. What was your best favorite Sebastian Vettel moment? Of course, you could have a favorite Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Daniel Ricciardo moment as well. Do let me know what you think. Looking forward to your comments, and let me know who do you think will win? Will it be Charles Leclerc who pips for the second spot, or do you feel Checo Perez, the master of defense, or the Ministry of Defense, Mr. Checo Perez, will do something, or Max Verstappen will just kind of do something to help and amend the ways for him? Looking forward to your comments, and see you in the next one.